Oh, right. Okay. All right. So, welcome back to another Fit Man Aquatics weekly live stream. Now, I know some of you might have seen that the plan was originally to do this at 10 o'clock in the morning, but that kind of impacted the whole plan for the day. So, I moved it to another happy hour live stream. So, if you are enjoying your long Labor Day weekend, cheers. But the 5 o'clock live stream made it a little bit easier for me to get, to the gym, water changes done, all of the stuff necessary, and then I can sit down and perform a nice live stream. Also gave me a little more time to prep this in advance, so hopefully it's a little bit better than before. Now, before we get started with all the information and everything, the shoulder workout video is finally up. It took me forever to get a thumbnail put together, but I have finally done that. Hold on. I might need to move this a bit closer. Hopefully you all can hear me. If you can, please let me know in the comments. But anyway, so the shoulder workout video is finally up. The monthly fish room tour should be concluding today, and I hope to have it out tomorrow for a nice Labor Day video. But if I can thank you, perfect. All right, so you can hear me. So anyway, the monthly fish room tour should be done. I'm going to film the terrariums after this live stream's concluded, and then I should be able to throw it all together and have it out nice, hopefully clean and polished for you all tomorrow. My goal is tomorrow afternoon, again, something like a happy hour where you all can sit, maybe have a beer on Labor Day, and watch a nice, relaxing fish room tour. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about tips and tricks. So these are kind of things that I would recommend so that some are small, some are pretty big concepts. So a few of them we will be touching on in later videos. So this will kind of map out the next few weeks of live streams here, and just some more in-depth topics that I think really need a lot of talking about. And I can't cover all of it in this one video, but if you wanted between now and then to start doing your research on some of these terms or phrases to really start using them before the video comes out or before the live stream comes out, that would be great. Especially that way, maybe if you have any questions and you're unsure about it, I can help answer any of those. So I'm going to lay it all out today, and then a few of them we're going to go more in depth. Some of them we really don't have to, but these are things that have really helped me out throughout my nutrition, weightlifting career, lifestyle. I don't know how you want to describe it, but it's been a while. So I have a lot of things that have definitely helped me along the way and give me an edge, and to help stay in shape even when life is very busy and you can only hit the gym maybe 2-3 times a week, or you are doing at-home workouts and you're very limited on what you can do. Some of these tips and tricks can really help keep your shape or the look that you want. So anyway, moving on into them. So the first one I'm going to go on is one that I use every single day, and that is intermittent fasting / the warrior diet. So hopefully intermittent fasting is a term that you've heard before. I know it's becoming more and more popular in the media. So for those of you who don't know, though, intermittent fasting is kind of just a long period where you don't eat anything or you have very few calories that you intake so that your body can enter a fasted state where they will start burning your body fat. So a typical intermittent fast for most people or specialists will tell you 16 hours of fasting to 8-hour eating window. And then you can increase in intensity from there, but that's like the basic. Now, I'm not going to go in too much detail because that could be easily an hour-long video on intermittent fasting. I have years of experience at this point. I've probably been doing it since maybe 5 years, 5 or 6 years at this point. So I started it. I never looked back. I think it's amazing. There's so many benefits I'd love to talk about and different ways to do it and all kinds of stuff. So that will be next week's live stream. All the benefits, intermittent fasting, just real in depth. Now, to couple that is the warrior diet, which is probably a term you most likely have not heard, but that is actually most days of the week. That is what I do. Now, it's not a hard set thing, but the simplicity or the thought process behind the warrior diet is that you fast for about 20 hours a day, 4-hour eating window, or one very large meal. It's supposed to mimic our kind of caveman, Cro-Magnon era ancestors all the way up to basically the point of agriculture, because for a long time humanity or humans or Homo sapiens, however you want to look at it, were foragers. They spent all day hunting and gathering, and then in the evening they would all come together, cook their food. It was a big get together, and that's when they ate, and then they'd all go to bed. And the next day it would rinse and repeat, spending many hours gathering and then come together to eat for a small period of time and then go to bed. So that's the simple version of it. We'll talk a little more in depth with intermittent fasting next week. Now, the next topic is going to be Tabatas, cardio acceleration, and HIITs. So that's 3 different concepts, all very similar. That's why I kind of lumped them together. Now, Tabatas that I've used in the past it's really to get your heart rate up. These are all kinds of forms of kind of cardio, but in a different sense because it's not steady state. Some people hate running on the treadmill and things like that. So these are some cardio exercise that I've done because I hate cardio. To help get that cardio in, or basically keep that heart rate up, so that your body is pumping more, burning more calories, and it's helping burn some of that body fat off. So basically a Tabata, the way I've done it simply in the past, is 4 minutes of some kind of generally going to be a whole full body exercise. But again, we'll talk more in the weeds about this in about 2 weeks. But it's about 4 minutes with 20 minutes of exercise, 20 seconds of exercise, 10 seconds break, 20 seconds exercise, rinse and repeat until the 4 minutes is up. So that's what I've used for warm-ups, for cool downs, in between exercises. It can be used all over the place, but I'm a big fan of it. Another one, cardio acceleration, very similar, but this one's going to be something like running in place for 60 seconds in between your sets. So this is something to keep your heart rate high, especially if you're trying to burn calories, lose weight, that you can use in between your sets. Very light exercise. You're not trying to kill yourself, but you're trying to keep that heart rate up. Again, we'll talk a bit more about that in 2 weeks is the plan for all of these. And then HIITs, which very similar to Tabatas, is an exercise that you will do for however many minutes. That is for you to determine. But basically, it's going to be an interval of high intensity training. Thus the name, high intensity interval training. Guess I should have started with that. But a period where you're going all out, hard as you can, and then a rest period. Period where you're going all out. Now, sometimes these periods can be 15 seconds, killing yourself, 60-second break, and then you work your way up, and eventually you're doing a minute where you're killing yourself in 15 seconds of break. But it's a very good cardio exercise, gets that heart rate spiked really high. so that you can help burn some calories and some fat. And you can do it in a small period of time as opposed to doing cardio for 60 minutes or some ungodly amount of time. So all of those Tabatas, cardio acceleration, and hits we're going to do in 2 weeks. Next is supersets, drop sets, and rest pause sets. These are all things that I use in the gym every single time I go there. Superset is basically the lifeblood of all of my exercises, as I will hopefully show you in some later videos when I actually kind of time-lapse superset exercise at home. But supersets is basically jumping from one exercise to the next without a break. Now, I like to do this for 2 different muscle groups like back and biceps, but you can also use it for 2 of the same muscle or 2 exercises for the same muscle if you're really trying to work one muscle extra hard. But then I would recommend, like a wide grip versus a close grip if it was back. Anyway, we'll talk more about that that'll probably be 3 weeks. So supersets, really great. Got a lot to say on it because I've been using it consistently for years and years. I like the way it makes me feel. It's scientific. I'm going to stop there. We'll talk about it in 3 weeks. So drop sets. This is kind of a finisher to your workout or maybe even a finisher to your set. But basically all it is when you're done with a set, you drop the weight, you do as many as you can. Now, you can also just keep dropping that weight lower and lower and doing as many as you can if you really want to burn it out. That's a good way to end your exercise. But it's a good, it is a good way to really finish off and exhaust a muscle group. So not too crazy much to say on that, but we will talk about that a little more in depth in 3 weeks. And the rest pause sets. This is another one that I like to finish my workout or my exercises with, or sometimes my workout with. And that is using a rest pause set, which is basically you're going to do the same amount of weight, but after a set's done, you rest for an interval of time. I'm a big fan of 15 seconds, and then you will do as many exercises as you can. So we'll talk a little more in depth about that in 3 weeks. There are a few other things you can do to really finish that exercise out on a strong note. All right, so now we're going to move into a few of these smaller concepts that really I don't think need to be talked about in another video, but are important ideas that help me get by day or that I've used in the past. And then we'll finish off with one that's kind of going to be our intro or our segue closer into some of the more outskirt diets and into nutrition and fitness 201. So, but I'll explain that more in a second. All right, so moving on. One very helpful trick that I am using almost every day now is smaller containers. So seeing a smaller container, a smaller plate, bowl, I like to use a cereal mug, a coffee mug that I put cereal in. The idea is to trick your brain to think that you're having more or that you're having a larger size because the bowl or the container is smaller, so it looks like it's filling it up a lot more, even if it isn't necessarily what you would normally have. So an example would be, again, that coffee mug I use. I pour cereal and what would be 1 serving based off of the nutritional facts, and it fills up almost the entire mug. Now, it may only fill up a tiny portion of a bowl, but to my brain, it sees a very full mug of cereal, and it is going to feel more satisfied or more satiated. That is the belief if you do that method. So I've been doing that a lot for cereal because I am a cereal monster. So I will eat boxes and boxes of cereal. That's probably my favorite easy carb source. And to try and dial back on that, I have been using a mug to try and have less or smaller bowls, less portions or smaller portion sizes. Another one is, and this is a kind of a big concept, but I've talked about it in a past video. It's really old, but that's mindset. And this is possibly one of the most important things that you can have in the gym is, or in a weight room or in the kitchen, is having the right mindset. And it's not easy. It's going to take some time. There will be some stumbling blocks, but if you can keep a positive mindset 90% of the time, you're going to start seeing success. One of my favorite phrases that I'm sure my girlfriend could tell you she hears all the time is Rome wasn't built in a day. And that's true of the body. It doesn't happen immediately. It's not going to happen in a week. It takes a long, long time. Your body is kind of like the Great Wall of China. It's going to take months, possibly years, to get to where you want, depending on where you are now and how aggressive you want to be at. So you've got to be consistent. It's going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. So having that mindset going into it, preparing yourself mentally, is going to be extremely helpful and will help lead to better success and hopefully not a crash. So one important fact to keep on, or to couple with that, is that we all stumble. It goes along with the mindset idea that even myself, we all have bad days. We all might eat extra. Just don't let it be the end of the world. Don't let it be the end of your diet, your exercising, whatever you're trying to do to get the results you want. We all stumble. We all have bad days. You just got to pick yourself back up, brush yourself off, and keep on moving. It is definitely not the end of the world. Thankfully, one bad day in nutrition is easily fixed within a week. I'm sure you can undo the changes. I can't think of one bad day that I've had that I couldn't change in a single week. So I could be wrong, but that's the point, is that one bad day or even a couple bad days will not end anything. I was in college. You see the photos. Those were progress photos of when I was in college. I don't look like that anymore, but adult life takes a bit more, and it's a harder time right now. Anyways, those photos of me, those were of me in college. I still went to spring break. I didn't work out that week. I probably had alcohol if I was old enough. So that happens. And I came back probably looking a little doughy and out of shape. Even still, I can guarantee within a month that was fixed. That was a thing of the past. So just don't let it break you down and just completely give up. We all have bad days. We all take time off. Life gets hard, especially now. And so we all have to take a step back, deep breath, just get that right mindset again and keep moving forward. Next one, this is definitely important if you are exercising in any facet: music. I can't stress this enough. I don't know if there's science behind it, but I can tell you, after over a decade of working out, music, especially in the form of headphones, in my opinion, makes a workout better. I can lift heavier weights. I can push myself more. I'll do more reps if I have good tunes blasting in my ears. You got to find the right music for you. Everyone's got a different, everyone has different music that they enjoy. So find what's going to work for you. It may not even be the same thing for, depending on the exercise. If it's cardio, may need something different from weightlifting. But music, can't stress it enough. Possibly one of the smallest tips I can give, but with one of the biggest impacts, in my opinion, especially when you're getting into that gym. Might even need it while you're sitting in the car to get yourself energized heading to the gym. I think I've talked on this before, but I'm talking on it again because it's important. Anyway, progress photos. As you saw or possibly saw in the live stream thumbnail, those are progress photos. I took them regularly while I was in college. At points, it was on a weekly basis. At some points, it was on a daily basis. And yes, I think on a daily basis, you can see differences. But if you don't want to do daily, then do weekly, do monthly. But progress photos for me were helpful when I was at that point. Obviously, it was just look for deficiencies, muscle groups and things that I thought I could improve on and work better on. And also some of them, like the intermittent fasting photo, where I would take it to kind of catalog where I was in terms of carbs, fat, protein, all of that. So you can also do that to kind of keep yourself motivated and keep your head in the game. So progress photos, I think, are a good way that can help, but you got to be careful, because if you start getting negative on yourself, it can be very disastrous. So progress photos are good for the right person, but maybe not for everyone. I would say give it a try, but if you start feeling down on yourself because you don't like the picture, maybe it's not time to start doing that yet. Maybe you've got a little ways to go, but I still think that if you're willing to accept where you're at now, and we'll talk a bit more on that in a second, but if you're willing to accept where you're at now, then you should have no problem seeing progress photos, be they good or bad, especially if you can keep that mindset up and remember that it's not the end of the world, even if you don't like the picture, or it may be worse than the week before. I've had that all the time. Doesn't stop me, and it shouldn't stop you. All right. But yeah, it can help keep you on track so that you make sure you're hitting your goals, or keep you motivated, keep that mindset up. But it can also, if you're going for competition or more in depth, I mean, if you're going for competition, you probably already know this, and you probably know more than me. But if you're going for competition or anything, progress photos are extremely important to be able to tell where you're at, or where your deficiencies lie. If you need to pump your biceps a bit more, hit a second back day, something like that. So finding what works for you. Now, this can be in the kitchen, this can be in the gym. It falls in both categories, but an easy example is I never do cardio. It's shocking, right? I know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you don't think so at all. But I don't do cardio. I don't like it. I do other things, fasting, supersets. I find other ways that I can be strategic to keep the way, or like the way that I look for the most part, and but not have to do cardio, because I just really hate, I really hate cardio. It's so bad. It's so annoying. But it may be cardio for you. Some people just love running and get that runner's high. So great for you. More power to you. But you got to find what works. Find out what you're going to enjoy doing and going to be able to repeat over and over again while seeing results. Don't be running and it's not showing results, but you love running. You may have to unfortunately change some things up so that you can see the results you want. You can't, what is it? Insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, or something like that. I think that was an Albert Einstein quote. I could be wrong. You can berate me in the comments or something if I botch that horribly. Give me a break. Anyway, but you do have to find what works for you, be it cardio, be it Tabata, circuit training, just heavy weightlifting like myself. Maybe it's just getting really creative in the kitchen, not even working out, and just doing like great meal prep, dieting, all counting your macros, all of that fun jazz. And that's the way you find your success, and it makes you happy. So you just got to do what you really enjoy, and that's going to keep your mindset up and keep you on track. All right. So one of the most important things I can tell anyone, weightlifter, dieter, nutritionist, I don't really care, human being, needs to know that there are times where you need to be able to put your ego or pride to the side. Yes, that was a J. Cole reference for some of you. But you if you're in the gym, if you're out in public and you see someone that, they have a physique that you admire, don't be afraid to ask them for tips, maybe some workout advice, or maybe you're in the gym and you see them doing an exercise you've never seen before, but it looks good, you seem interested, and you like the way they look, or they're very strong, or very in shape, however you want to describe it. But don't be afraid to go up to them and ask tips, advice. Hey, can you show me how you do that? Something like that. A lot of, especially the big bodybuilders, are more than happy to show that to you. And they have a lot of knowledge that no one is willing to tap into. And they're not usually willing to give it out openly because they're usually pretty quiet, shy guys. I can tell you from experience, because I'm one of them, that I personally, maybe I'm being too prideful now, but I personally think I know a lot of exercises and a lot of different ways to do the same exercise but get different results. And a lot of people don't ask me about it, but some people do. And I've had people in the past that come up to me and ask me about an exercise or why I'm doing it that way. And I'm more than happy to explain it to you, demonstrate it for you. I have no problem with those things. I want people to better themselves, to be ready, and to have more in their arsenal in the gym so that they can be successful and see the results they want. And I think there's a lot of weightlifters that are like that. They know how you feel, and a lot of them may have actually been in your position at one point, and they are more than happy to help you out. But you have to be the one that's willing to put your ego or pride away for a little bit, humble yourself, and talk to them, because they won't come over and talk to you about it. I can almost guarantee it. But that couples in everyday life. I think in this world right now, a lot of people need to put their pride away and look at each other in a different light. But we don't need to go in depth anymore about that. But in terms of weightlifting and nutrition, don't be afraid to ask people for help, questions, a spotter even. I've asked tons of random people to spot me for a while, and it builds friendships in the gym. You start recognizing people, saying hi to people. You might end up with a workout partner. So put the pride away, and I bet you'll see positive results, way more positive results than you'd ever see negative. You got nothing to lose. All right. Find a person who has the body you want. That kind of goes along with what I just talked about, but it may not be a person in the gym. Could be a person in the gym, but Instagram, Facebook, social media nowadays has hundreds and hundreds of people that you can find the body type you're looking for. You got to be realistic. Don't idolize a 6'5" power lifter and you're over here at like 5'4", 5'2", or something like that. You're not going to have necessarily the same body type. Endomorphs, mesomorphs, and ectomorphs, I believe. You can all look up all those terms and diagrams and stuff if you don't know what those terms mean. But make sure you're realistic, but look for someone who has the physique you're looking for and kind of, creep on them a little bit, if you will. There's plenty of people out there who are showing their videos of their exercises and things they do and the things they eat. Some people are vlogging it all or something. I guess I'm kind of doing that here. But find someone who has the body type that you would kind of want to see yourself as, and look at the exercises they do. Look at the food they eat. That way you can kind of help keep yourself motivated. Follow along with them, and hopefully that will also help keep you motivated. Be careful with that, because they may be able to get food and nutritionists and personal trainers and things that you can't. So don't get defeated if they're seeing the results and you're not seeing the results. So you do have to be careful. But for the most part, provides another way to get information. You can see their exercises, you can see their workouts, you can probably message them. Hopefully they'll message you back, and you can kind of pick their brain a little bit so that you can get more information and, prepare yourself, build that kind of catalog of nutrition and fitness information so that you're eventually going to have an encyclopedia of it, and you're prepared to be doing your own workouts, making your own meal prep, and you're getting the results you want. Along with that, don't be afraid to try new exercises. I do it all the time, constantly in the gym. I might see something on social media or another person doing that exercise in the gym, and I may try and mirror it or go ask them about it, ask to see if they would mind demonstrating it, something like that, and possibly trying to do it myself. So that happens all the time. My girlfriend and I switched up our routine today off of some things that we saw off the internet that sounded interesting, and we wanted to explore to see if that would be something that we would add into our regular routine. But it also is a nice change of pace to kind of mix it up so you don't get stagnant and get bored and worn out of doing the same exercises over and over and over and over and over again, because that can get very old very quickly. And that's another easy way for you to get tired and just kind of done with the gym. So new exercises are always being thrown into my workouts, or I'm kind of changing a workout or an exercise that I've done before, maybe just slightly, so that I can see how that feels. So I don't think there's anything wrong with doing different things, trying different exercises, getting a little creative in the gym. The gym for me is kind of like a laboratory. I get to be creative. I get to play a little bit, try, and I am my own guinea pig. So I get to try and see different exercises, how it felt, how my muscles felt, all of that. But we'll leave it there. Again, new exercises are always good to throw in, but you should always have a few heavy hitters that you always bring back in, especially those full body deadlift, squats, lunges, pull-ups, bent over rows, stuff like that. And if you don't know what those are, then hopefully I'll have videos out on it out soon about those. But if you can't wait that long, then social media, the internet is a powerful source for getting all that you need to know and more about all of those exercises and the variants thereof. And the last one that kind of couples with intermittent fasting is keeping your mind busy. A bored mind is a hungry mind, so it's easy to start snacking when you have nothing to do. It's why my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday most of the time are very busy. I'm doing a lot, I'm moving around, and it's because I'm fasting for at least 17 hours, even on the weekends. And so I want to make sure that I have an active mind. I'm doing water changes. I am looking at my plants. I'm doing trimmings. I'm working, cleaning around the house. That way I am not bored, and I can easily forget about being hungry or needing to eat. Maybe just sipping on a little bit of coffee and some water throughout the day is an easy way for me to just kind of power through a whole day without ever thinking about food. So it's not something that you may be able to do for starters, and it may take some building up to, but it's something that I would definitely consider exploring, because I'll tell you, it makes my work day very easy. I can just keep going and going and going and going, and then when I'm done with work, I can eat or I can go work out. And we'll talk about fasted exercise in intermittent fasting next week, so that'll be another point to touch on, but I think they're great. I love them, and I think there's a lot of benefits to it, and weight loss being one of them, but there's also many more in my opinion. So stay tuned for next week's live stream, and we will talk about that then. But keeping your mind busy, I think it's extremely important, simple to do, but giving yourself little projects here and there, or just little fun things to do, having a hobby is extremely helpful And aquariums is a very busy hobby, if I will, in my opinion. Keeps you busy. You can be doing a lot, or you can just be staring at fish tanks sometimes. But that's perfectly fine. Any way to keep your mind from wandering towards, I'm hungry, I want food. Um, so, again, we'll talk about intermittent fasting, fasted workouts, and the warrior diet next week. Now, the last one is kind of going to be a little bit experimental, and some people may not agree with it and think, as I've been told to my face before, it's going to kill you. And that's the keto diet. Now, that's not only the keto diet. We'll talk a little bit about paleo and vegan, I guess. Pescatarian, vegetarian, all these various. I wouldn't necessarily call them diets. I'd call them more like a lifestyle. But you could call them diet because I've done keto on and off for a while. I think it has its place, but it doesn't necessarily need to be done all the time. Although you could do it all the time, and you'd probably be much healthier than I am. But the keto diet's kind of going to be that segue into nutrition and exercise 201. So that will be probably about 4 to 5 weeks away, as we are rounding out our exercise and nutrition live stream classroom 101, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to call it nutrition and exercise 101. Then we'll jump back to aquariums, but that's way in the future, so don't worry about that right now. But that's about all I've got. Oh, I guess I should talk about what the keto diet is. Well, it's getting more popular and mainstream, so hopefully you know, but if you haven't ever heard of it or don't know what it is, high fat, low carbs, moderate protein. That's the simplicity of it. Again, we will touch on that in a few weeks. There's a lot more in depth to talk about on all of those diets, so that's going to be a long one. So it might take me a while to prep for that one. That's why it's so far off. And it's a more in-depth topic that not everyone really needs to worry about. That's why we're going to go kind of more into 201 for those people who are ready to take the next step or really interested in this and want to learn more, or different avenues, different ideas. I really like being my own guinea pig. So maybe you find out you're that kind of person and you really want to step into the 201 nutrition and exercise realm. And hopefully that talk will kind of be a good segue. But anyway, again, a few weeks off. But that's about it. So next week will be intermittent fasting, fasted workouts, and the warrior diet. The week after that will probably be Tabatas, cardio acceleration, and hits, all the exercises you can do to get your heart rate up without having to do cardio. That's 2 weeks. Supersets, drop sets, and rest pause sets will probably be in 3 weeks. I might try and couple it with Tabatas and everything, but we'll see. I'll see how into the weeds we really are planning on getting there, because it could get really in depth, but if I keep it kind of moderate, which is my plan, I might be able to kind of scrunch it all into one live stream. So we'll see. 2 to 3 weeks away. Anyway, and then the keto diet, which is going to be 4 to 5 weeks away, or keto, paleo, all of the kind of out there diets. We're not going to do Atkins, and we're not going to do like Miami diet or whatever, the South Beach diet. More of the mainstream kind of diets. And but that will be 4 to 5 weeks away. But that's about all I got. Again, the monthly fish room tour should be out. My hope is tomorrow. I'm going to film these terrariums just momentarily, try and splice that all together and have it out to you for Labor Day. I will be working on my next exercise video hopefully this week, and hopefully I'll have some time to do that, and I can, now that I kind of have some better idea on what to do, I can put that together more quickly and have the video out to you faster, because I've got lots of muscle groups to go through, and I have not much more time before we start switching back into Aquarium 201. So I got my work cut out for me, but I will get those out to you. And I think that's about it. So hopefully this video was informative or uplifting or educational or entertaining or something for you. And if it was, a like is always appreciated. If you find this entertaining, educational, informative, uplifting in any way, shape, or form, and you want more of these videos, you could consider subscribing. There will be plenty of exercise videos and lots of more nutrition and live streams like this to come. So you can look forward to that. If you're trying to start your fitness or nutrition journey, that subscribe button will help you out with that. And then comments down, questions, comments, ideas, tips, tricks, whatever you want to leave down below is always greatly appreciated. And if you do have questions or anything like that, then I will be happy to get back to you and answer them to the best of my ability. I think that's about all I got. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So with that, I am out. You all have a nice rest of your Labor Day. Hopefully you get a nice long 3-day weekend and get to do lots of relaxing. But if you don't, I am sorry. And have a great first day back at work tomorrow. All right. Goodbye.